Well, guys, last week's video was the perfect example of hope for the best, but expect the worst. Now, I'm not saying things are the worst, but we definitely could have gotten some better news. However, this might be some self-praise thing, but I think we went about it absolutely perfectly. And that's what I want to talk about on this week's Tuesday Morning Tech Tip from Pugliese Speed Chat. Yo, so raise your hand if you thought we were going to throw a battery in that thing and it was going to fire right up and we're going to drive it down here. Nah, my hand ain't up. All right. Now, raise your hand if you were hoping we were going to put a battery in that thing and it was going to fire right up and we're going to drive it. Yeah, that's right here. I was hoping for that. But, you know what they say, right? You can hope in one hand and do something else in the other. See which one fills up first, right? Yeah. I did not think it was going to fire it up. I might have oversold myself a little bit on the nothing ever broke on this thing, and I mentioned it a bunch of times. So I kind of figured, like, okay, we'll spin it. The gas will be bad, that kind of stuff. I'm thinking the gas is bad. I'm pretty sure I was right there. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I mentioned a whole bunch of times that it never broke. But don't let that fool you. That doesn't mean that I thought it was going to just fire up. I was expecting pretty much what we're dealing with. Maybe not to that extreme, but I knew it was a possibility, right? So I didn't give any kind of false hope or nothing like tell Chip, be like, yo, it's going to fire it up. I said I was going to start working on it right away because I know how these things can go, right? And I also know if you're not careful, you can do way more damage than good, no matter how good your intentions are. So I've mentioned a few times how much the car and Chippy, his family, the whole project, how much it all means to me. So there's no question I have the best of intentions. However, you can have the best of intentions, but if you don't think things out and you just start acting, intentions or not, you can make things way worse. Let's just say I threw caution to the wind and put a battery in this car, got in there and just twisted the key and started pumping the gas. Well, best case scenario is nothing happens, right? That's the best case. But if I'm just running around all willy-nilly, best case usually doesn't happen, right? Let's say, the next step would have been, okay, if I twist the key and I start mashing the gas, trying to get some fuel in there, you saw everything was froze up. I mean, seized very tightly. I mean, I wasn't going crazy with it because I don't want to break anything, but clearly nothing was even moving. Well, that was just my hands touching the stuff. Imagine my foot hitting that thing, leverage and everything else. We're going to break stuff. We're going to bend stuff, crack. Who knows what's going to happen? But I could promise you it wouldn't have been good, right? Now, let's say I did that and somehow, who knows how, but it started, right? Let's say I didn't do anything. It just started. Well, know what we know now, that probably wouldn't have happened. But if it did, if it just spun, all that stuff that was around the air filter, well, that's gumming everything up. So anything that was good is probably not good, right? And then, who knows? Guys, looking at what that carburetor looks like and the butterfly, everything is just not good, right? There's definitely moisture in that fuel, if it's even considered fuel anymore. That's something we didn't check because I wasn't ever going to run that fuel through that motor. It's sitting 20 something years. Now, I know what you're thinking. I ran it through my 65. That was sitting for 8, 9 years, something like that. That fuel did not smell good, but it didn't smell terrible. And I mean, it worked, right? And it was a crap carburetor. Whatever. I got all the excuses in the world why I did that. You guys saw the video, and nobody actually said I shouldn't have done it. So maybe I did the right thing there. But in this situation, I definitely made the right call. So I say we made the right call because we know everything now. We don't know everything, but we know what we know. What does that even mean? Well, what it means is we know that the carburetor is seized up tight. Linkage is not moving, all that kind of stuff. Butterfly, everything's locked up. We know there's a lot of corrosion down in there because, well, we have eyes. We know there's that mouse house that was in the corner that Chippy pulled out. They went further than that, and it was all around, and I was afraid because they usually do it around the filters, guys, just how it happens. So to see all the mouse droppings and the nest made inside the air filter, I kind of expected a lot of that. So the fact that I couldn't even get the wing nut off without a pair of pliers, as soon as that, I was like, this isn't going to be good. So we know all that, right? But what don't we know? And this is the truest statement you'll ever hear, and it's also the simplest, but you don't know what you don't know, right? What are the inside of the cylinders? What's inside the motor? What do the cylinder walls look like? I'm sure there's some kind of ring range. Is it corroded in there? Is there, I mean, what did all the moisture that was in that carburetor, clearly in that car, did it get down into everything? I don't know. So we got to figure that out. And that's why I said we're done with the driveway, revival. Now, if it was a car I bought for a couple $100 and I didn't care about it, yeah, I'd be up there and just get it going. Who cares, right? But that's not it. That's not what this isn't. One of the will it runs that I love watching just as much as you guys do. And like, wow, somebody took something out of the tree row and let's get it going. That's not what this is. This is a car that we're trying to restore, and we want to bring it back to its prime, like we said in the video. So, is a 3.8 the most sought after motor on the planet? Absolutely not. I hear they run forever. They're super efficient and pretty easy to work on. So that's good. Now, realize I said, I hear this. I don't know any of this to be fact because this is the first one I've messed with, and you guys saw how far I got. Right now, all I know is I don't really know what size bolt is on the front of that crank, but we'll figure that out. I tried getting the caliper down in there. You can't do it. So it's going to be trial and error. And I don't have a bunch of big sockets. So I see a Harbor Freight trip in my future, and I'm not mad about that at all. Because who doesn't like buying new tools, right? So we'll get that. Probably buy a larger diameter socket kit. They have a few of them over there. We'll grab one, and probably the one with the most variety. And we'll get the car down here. And that's the first thing we'll do is put a socket on the front and see if we can spin that motor. You guys have probably watched Vice Grip Garage a million times. He tries to get a full 360 on everything before he does anything else. And if we can, and we can do that without, really getting after it, cool. I'm torn. So guys, for Christmas, Megan and Andrew got me a borescope. So I kind of want to use that. So I think before I even do that, we're going to pull the plugs and look down the cylinders and see what we can see. Hopefully, nothing out of the ordinary. And maybe we'll squirt a little Marvel's Mystery Oil down there or something like that to let it seep through for, a day or two, whatever. And even if it is free, let's make it lubed up, guys. I mean, nothing's run through this thing in 20-something years. So, I mean, I keep thinking about all the things we could have turned the key and snapped the starter if the motor is locked up. I mean, or just so many things we could have done. So I'm just really glad. And I know old Wade, when I said in the video, he said just send it. He was halfway serious, all right? He's not. He's way more cautious than that, trust me. But he also didn't know it's been sitting for as long as it was. After I told him, I sent a picture of the carburetor, I told him I was dealing with it, he's like, whoa, how long has this thing been sitting? So he didn't have the whole story. But we're going to break it down. I just don't want to cause any undue damage. Now, Chippy might be sitting there, and I'm not sure. He's mentioned a couple times he wanted to put a 350 in it. So I think he might be sitting there like, well, if the motor's bad. I already thought about it, Chip. So if it's bad, I got options. Don't worry about that at all. That's not a showstopper by any stretch of imagination. It's just we'll have to, take a different road. But I believe that mileage is to be true, 89,000 miles. And everything I've heard about these things, they're good motors, right? I know he's not looking for a powerhouse. He's not going to try and drag race or anything like that. Because that old G-body shuffle gun. No, he's not trying to do none of that. So this is probably the best motor for what he wants. He just wants to cruise with the family. So we'll see how it goes. And guys, this is how it happens with projects. It happened with this one. It's happened with everything I've ever messed with. We say it all the time. They kind of build themselves, right? Like you got a plan, and this is how you're doing it, and then you get little roadblocks in the way, and things change. My 65, I never expected that thing to get wrecked. Huge change there. This one, everything's been a little bit different than what I was planning on doing. I mean, wasn't planning on these wheels and tires, wasn't planning on this headliner, wasn't planning, you just keep naming it, right? It just keeps, but you adapt as you go, and I've always been happy with the outcome, so hopefully this is no different, right? It's just important that we don't get, like Chippy said, he's like, I ain't no rush, man. It's been sitting for years. So why would I rush it now? It'd be like rushing my 65s. Been sitting in the corner for how many years? Now I'm going to rush it? No, I'm going to do it how I want to do it. So, I saw a couple comments mentioning about the momentum of, the 65 build, and it's kind of slowed down. The last few videos, we haven't really messed with it because now we're waiting on parts and that kind of thing. So that happens, right? It's going to be no different with this. We're going to get a bunch of stuff going, figure out what's going on, and then order everything we need. I might be going this week to go pick up a hood and a door and a bumper. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. But you guys will probably, I'll let you know how it all works out. But hopefully, as we're waiting on parts for the olds, we'll move on to something here. Like we've been waiting on this guy, or the parts will come in for the 65 or whatever. That's kind of the good thing about having. A lot of people get all these projects, and I get it, guys, because I have not been the best with some things. I get a little distracted and jump onto something else. Well, we're trying to be done with that. And I understand the irony if I say that as this one's sitting here, the 65's at Joe's, and we're working on the Cutlass. Got it. It may not make the most sense, but these three projects I can keep constantly working on something while we're waiting on parts or doing this or doing that or whatever. So it makes sense in my head. Hopefully it makes sense in somebody else's head. But more importantly than any of that, I hope it all works out. I think it will. And one way or the other, we'll make it work out. But we're gonna, like I said, you see, I got some things in the way down here, so I'm about to get busy cleaning this place up, making some room down here, and get the Cutlass down here. Start tearing into it. See what's going on with everything else. We'll see what the inside of the motor looks like. We'll get a little bit further, then we'll clean everything out of there, give us a nice clean slate, and know which way to go from there. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully we've seen the worst of it, because even if we can't rebuild that carburetor, if it's just that corroded or something like that, they're listed all over the place online, so I'm not worried about that. We just gotta get a good assessment, make a list, prioritize this. We got the board back there. We're going back to the board, guys. We strayed from the board a little bit, and every time we stray from it is when things get a little crazy, so we're going to bring it back. All right? And, well, guess we'll see how it goes. You guys will know shortly after I do. That's really the only way this could happen. But hopefully you guys are digging the G-body idea. I'm serious. I cannot wait to see this thing back on the road. And may make Chippy a little jealous because I'll get to drive it before he will. Yes. Thanks for watching, guys.